You've got a lot of initiatives on the go as an individual, as a team, as an organisation. There's lots on at once and the pressure is building. What we need is a way to organise this work that can increase the amount of throughput of initiatives, and we also need to decrease the amount of stress around us to get to relaxed focus. At the end of it, I said there's a bunch of practicalities which I was going to go through in the next video. Let's get into it. Super quick summary of the last video. We're going to finish blue, we're going to finish red, then we're going to finish green. 30,000 of benefit is going to be 120,000. Now that's quite a difference to 30,000 sitting here in terms of the two methods. It's 4 times the amount. Have you noticed that green finishes in exactly the same spot in both ways of working? The real world's never this clean. The real world is messy. Some practicalities. You have what I call demand-based work coming at you.
We're dealing with a lot of shit.
It has to be ring-fenced in order to create time for initiative. The important thing to remember is we are not talking about red being a case of demand-based work or something else coming along. We are talking about when we've dealt with the stuff that we need to deal with, when we go back to working on initiatives, we are clear that we go back to working on blue. Another important thing, this does not mean that no one can work on red or green if they're idle, if they don't have things to do. But the principle is, if there is anyone working on blue, that they don't get bothered. It's a commitment for yourself individually or for your team or for your organisation to say, we are going to ship blue. That is our priority. That's the next thing.
Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
In fact, managerial work becomes considering what is the logical sequence in which we want to ship projects, rather than saying, how do we get everything going at once and try to complete them all at the same time. So people are welcome to get ready for red and for green. What's ideal is that they're doing work to make sure that when we do turn to red, it'll happen. But what we are not doing is bothering people working on blue. And that particularly applies into any sort of technology department who are crucial to so much work we're doing in organisations.
Yeah, you need to turn it on.
If they can be given the clear priorities about what to ship next, it can speed up the whole organisation. Another thing, as I alluded to there, this can apply on multiple fractal levels within the organisation. It can apply to yourself as an individual in terms of your way of working. Line up the stuff you need to deliver in the order of the date it needs to be delivered in. Work on one thing until it is shipped, which means it is out of your area, and then go to the next thing and the next thing. If when you line them up sequentially, it turns out you're not going to get them all done, then you have to go and talk to someone immediately about that, because getting them all started at once is not going to magically result in suddenly there being more room at this end. And if you're working with a team, you might think to yourself, but how can we focus on blue? Because then we need to give it to the other area and then we're waiting.
Help me to help you. Help me to help you. Help me to help you.
But what you do is you focus on making sure our show has done its bit. And once it's shipped, once we've actually completed blue, we can then go to work on red. We keep track of the fact that we're waiting for blue, but then we focus on red. When blue comes back, we can then go back to working on blue. The point is that we are all clear on what we are shipping next, whether that's as an individual, as a team, or as a whole organisation. And finally, the part that is the most difficult of all, the level of mind shift required to work in this way is huge. As soon as we say we're going to focus on blue, you will feel your mind say, but what about red? But what about green? And we're not just talking about red or green. I know that you're dealing with tens of projects that are all apparently important and all need to be delivered. The ability to have what's initially trust and then to see the results, that this way of working actually allows you to get more done per week, per month, per year, takes an act of trust to start with. When you can work in this way, the results become clear. We feel the level of focus increase, we actually feel the level of stress decrease. But initially, it simply feels wrong. And there's even been research where people who work in this top way of working, at the end of the day, they report feeling like they got more done and they felt more useful. Here's the irony. On the actual tangible evidence, the people who were made to work in this way got more done. What they were struggling with was the idea that they could be going home not feeling harried and stressed, and have actually been a contributor. And remember, the modern day of work, which rewards the idea of I'm busy and I'm flat strapped, is going to instinctively make us set ourselves up to work like this in order to feel valuable, both as an individual and as a team. Working this way takes more courage than you might think. So those of you who are in managerial positions, provide the leadership, provide the ability for the team to focus. Simply say, I want to see this one shipped next. It can be that simple, but the effect it has can be huge. This way of working at the top is causing so much of the pain in organizations. If you are working on 10 projects at once, you feel the weight of 10 projects. If you are working on one thing to get it finished before you go to the next, the weight goes down to just one. It makes a significant difference in the way projects work. Adopting this as a principle can be a key to relieving the stress for an organization, for a whole team, and most importantly, for yourself. I'll see you next time.
Haven't you noticed the day somehow